Hey everyone, and welcome back to Soaring Kiwi. Today I want to explore how a separation changed my retirement timeline. This wasn't the plan, but it might just be the best thing that happened to me. I'll share some footage today of a walk I did with a friend around Hobsonville here in Auckland. I hope you enjoy that. Stick around. So this today isn't a breakup story. It's about what happens when life forces you to rethink everything. Many of us have our lives completely planned out and almost blindly believe everything's going to happen the way we planned it. We have an illusion of stability, and sometimes it takes a massive shock for us to realize that life just might not be going the way we anticipated. For some people, that might be losing a job or being made redundant. For others, it may be themselves or someone close to them getting sick. And for others, it may be losing someone close, either through death or by choice. For me, it was the end of a 30-year relationship. I'd been with this person since I was 18 years old and never once saw an end of the relationship in my future. However, life threw a bit of a spanner in the works, and I guess it forced a clarity, uncomfortable as it was, about what was important to me. It made me question all of my assumptions, all of my beliefs. It also made me consider what was important to me. Did I actually need a relationship to feel whole? Am I okay on my own? Or am I even better on my own? This certainly didn't happen overnight. It took some time, even years, to get to this point. But as time went on, I started to value my independence more and more. I could now make decisions about my future without considering a partner. I think this newfound independence has led me to consider what else I could untether myself from. Through therapy, I've been able to release myself from the feelings of shame and guilt at the breakdown of my relationship. This was a massive breakthrough, and I would highly recommend anyone out there going through something similar, find someone to talk to. But the next thing I thought about was gaining financial independence. This is where looking for a more affordable cost of living came in. As I researched this, I uncovered a whole movement of people doing exactly this. There's something called the FIRE movement. It stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. And if you search for it, it's massive. What it does is it involves saving and investing and then living frugally to allow an early retirement. A twist on this are people living cheaply by heading to a country with much lower prices for things like rent and food. What I didn't realize is that by investing my money after we sold our house, I'd actually started down this path. Retiring and slow traveling is the next step in the process towards that financial independence. And then this leads to a further form of independence, geographical. As I started to consider the traveling, I struggled with whether I wanted to just retire somewhere or whether I wanted to slow travel and keep moving. I believe both have their positives and negatives, but I've landed on the slow travel option, at least to start, because it does give me that geographical independence. I've probably traveled overseas 60, 70 times over the years, but I've only actually traveled to 10 different countries. I'll put some footage up here of some of my souvenirs that I've collected over some of my trips. Many of these trips have been for work and have been to the same countries. So Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, and Australia have actually been the bulk of the trips that I've done. This here is a map that I keep at my house, and my kids and I have placed a different colored pin wherever we've been. When I look at this, my daughter at 22 years old has visited more countries than I have despite my many trips. So I think I'd like to keep moving and exploring lots of new countries. I'll do this as long as it's sustainable. It will also offer great content for this channel as you come with me to every new spot I land. I've actually built a list of over 70 countries and nearly 200 cities that I'd like to include in my travels over the next few years. If I could achieve anything like that, I'll feel like I've given this a real good crack. And I'm super excited to see so many beautiful countries. I'll cover this list in a future video. As beautiful as New Zealand is, we're an incredibly young country. I'm really looking forward to exploring cities with thousands of years of history. It's going to be amazing. So I guess when thinking about this theme of independence, you consider what it is you actually need and what you don't. I'll be honest, when you're first alone after a long relationship, you think you won't cope without that special other. Well, certainly that's how it was for me anyway. I quite quickly started looking for someone new. I met and dated some wonderful women, but nothing really felt quite right. However, the longer I spent on my own, the more I started to appreciate it. The more I realized I don't actually need someone else to be complete, that I'm enough on my own. Independence and freedom is actually quite good. I also realized that I don't need to own a home. The Kiwi dream was always to own your own home, but due to inflation, rising costs, particularly in Auckland, home ownership is becoming out of the reach for many New Zealanders. However, since renting for the first time in over 25 years, I've realized I love it. There's far less stress. If anything goes wrong, the landlord gets it sorted. We have gardeners come in and I have zero maintenance costs. When we owned a lovely big home, I used to sit in the spa pool outside, and instead of relaxing, I'd just be looking around at all the maintenance I had to do. It was actually something that was meant to be fun and relaxing, and I found quite stressful. The decision not to buy again has also meant I don't have to worry about selling before traveling. I can literally just decide to leave my rental anytime that it works. And starting to sell my possessions has also brought a freedom with it. It reduces stress by living more minimally. This will only amplify when I have all my belongings in one suitcase. So to wrap up, starting over at 50 is certainly uncomfortable and not what I expected, but it's also incredibly clarifying. If you've had a major reset later in life, I'd love to hear from you how it changed your priorities. Thanks everyone for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe the video. It helps the algorithm send more people my way and help grow the channel. I appreciate all the great messages and comments I've already received. Catch you all again soon.